When you think of professors and researchers, you often think of classrooms and lab coats. But sociologist Dr. Carl Taylor does his research in an entirely different environment. He conducts his research on the street and with people within our communities that are often overlooked. Then he applies that research to help make a difference in people's lives.
40 years ago, I was 17 years old, and I came through here, and this was all working class, people who worked in factories, men and women, in this neighborhood. These were single homes, two-family homes, but people were working, and all these shops, these abandoned buildings, like even this here, was all here. It was happening. Just looking at this is violent to look at it. How can you go to school and feel very hopeful? Some people only want to look at one part of the community. Researchers have to make certain that they're getting a total picture. I consider myself an activist scholar, and so my classrooms are connected. My classroom in the street, at the youth centers, in the prisons, and my classroom back in East Lansing, they're together. My research is about young people being able to look at themselves in a healthy way and look at how they connect to the larger picture. They don't have to be addicted to violence.
Dr. Taylor and his team are working with inner-city kids in youth centers like Youthville, where they believe that one-on-one contact will help break the cycle of violence.
So how do you stay away from the dark side?
Well, I mostly try to hang around people that I get do the same thing I do.
What Dr. Taylor is doing is he's changing the mentality, the scope of it. You're taking something out of the laboratory, you're going out there, you're trying to put it into effect. What we talked about in books, we're going out there doing on the streets here.
We have to get out from behind our desks. We have to get out here. Youthville is what the YMCA used to be and what the Boys and Girls Club and all those things, and they're all gone now. And you started looking at what's taking place here, and it's hard when we go back and look at Youthville, we're like the phoenix rising again. Every single last young person that I've talked to over there today, one of the first things out of their mouth is, I'm safe here. I wish that I could make every kid safe. A safe haven is so important. If they have a good, healthy, young life, more than likely, you can talk about studies or whatever, but common sense should dictate that they're going to be good parents. They're going to be better people, better citizens.
All we need is more buildings like this. That's all we need.
So do they have rules? If you don't get good in school, can you not come in here? When I talk to young men and young women, I'm showing them in a peaceful way that, hey, come on, you can do better. Because I'm a product of a lot of good men and women that took time out with me. Young men need to be able to connect themselves to another male who cares about them with no hidden agenda.
One of the young men Dr. Taylor has been working with is Daryl Woods. He grew up in Detroit and now works in Dr. Taylor's office and attends MSU.
He's like the only professor that I know that I could talk to about different things regarding my education, social life, everything. So, a researcher, I never looked at him as a researcher. I never looked at him as a researcher. I looked at him as like Moses. But he actually uses statistics and try to help people with them and try to change their lives.
We've had some incidents here over the past 5-10 years where young men have done horrific things. But if we dig a little deeper, we find that there's an older guy who has sanctioned that. It's that older guy, that older brother, that uncle, that man who tells you it's cool to call women vulgar names. It's cool to abuse someone. It's not cool. That's the message.
Well, my father, he's in prison. He's been in prison since I was 1. And he had a program that he was running in prison. And Dr. Taylor, he got involved in it. And my father told Dr. Taylor about me. And then my dad called me that day, I think, and he told me about Dr. Taylor. Now I'm a sophomore at Michigan State University, majoring in computer engineering. I'm the first person from my family to go to college. I'm pretty sure like the first person from my area to go to college. All my friends either have kids or doing bad, selling drugs, but I just chose to steer away from it.
By bringing his message of peace and hope to segments of society that need it most, Dr. Taylor hopes to encourage more inner-city youth to pursue a nonviolent future.
We catch kids early, we know this. If we catch them early, we can really alter that behavior. Yes, we can.
Dr. Martin Luther King, he made a difference. Malcolm X made a difference. And in this situation, it's Dr. Taylor. He's my role model. I try to learn everything I can from him.
We're all a role model. Seriously, we really are. We can find a peaceful solution. Many times it's not the easiest way, but we lead by example. It's not hopeless. A lot of young people, all they want is a chance.
I want to be able to say that I helped someone, be able to say that I changed the world like Dr. Taylor has.
Dr. Taylor's research findings and expertise has been sought out by law enforcement agencies and fellow scholars across the nation.